Hello everyone, I'm Simon from Games on Tables and this is another episode of our Spotlight series. I will continue with the Alchemist players and we'll go on with the football players for today. Before we make our last video about the bruisers, so the more beating guys. The guild identification cards, GICs, have been announced and are in the testing right now. I won't make a video yet for them. I will make one, I think, later on after I fully presented the Alchemist guild with their union options and then have a decent base to talk about the different strategies for the different cards. If I will continue this in English, I can say right now it goes more like we will continue in German in the future because we tested this format in English. I will finish the Alchemist Guild in English definitely, but it doesn't make that much of a difference in viewing accounts, and there are so many really good English YouTube channels about Guild Ball that we think we serve the German-speaking community a better service. Give them a better service if we continue in German. So that might be the plan for the future. But I will finish Alchemist in English, I promise that, and I will do so. So let's talk about the footballers of the Alchemist Guild. We have 2 from the guild itself and we have 3 union models. The third union model I don't own myself, and one of them I made an alternate model from another system. But overall we have 5 potential footballers. Now I say footballers, not strikers, because they don't necessarily make the goal shot themselves, but they are quite good at getting the ball and keep the ball moving. Most beneficial in getting the ball to the correct person to shoot the goal, or in some instances getting the ball and shooting a goal. Getting the ball and shooting a goal in the same activation, which would be just perfect for the general game plan. So on the Alchemist Union side itself, we have Vitriol, of course, as the main striker. She is overall just awesome, but she received in the last errata from July a small nerf, but that doesn't make her unplayable. It just makes her different, and I like this change a lot. So her base stat line, you can see the front and back of the cards here. Her base stat line is really good. It's fast. It has a nice tag of 5, which is good for a striker. The best kick stat in the game, best base kick stat in the game. There are some with super shot to increase it even higher, but with the base kick stat, she's just on the top level. Defense of 5, armor of 0 is quite normal for strikers. Some have lower def but armor than. Most strikers have def 5, armor 0, because those are the more nimble, agile players, of course. Influence 2, 2/4, normal again. So her playbook has changed a little bit, but only in the later columns, and her damage result on the second column, the 2 damage with no momentum, has been pushed up to the 3rd column, so she doesn't deal that much damage anymore. That was a problem in the past. Vitriol could do almost anything. She had 12 hit points back then, now she has only 10. And yeah, she still has skill within Shadow over here, where she gets +2 on her tactics value to when targeting enemy models within cover. So who benefit from cover, so instead of getting a -1, effectively she gains a +1 on her attack results, having an attack of 6 against models with cover. And back then she had, in the early stages, she had +1 damage against models benefiting from cover. Then they changed it to once per activation. When she declares an attack, she may add +1 damage during this this single attack. Now she doesn't even have this. She does no hidden damage at all. She even lost her, I think, Cover of Darkness was it, her movement speed bonus from cover, and changed it with I've been burnt before. And this change is the change I like the most, because before the errata, Vitriol was a very strong player, but she wasn't that Alchemist style of a player. She had clone and could throw smoke bomb, okay, but that's it. What she could say it identifies her as an Alchemist player. But Snakeskin has clone too. Miss can throw a smoke bomb too, so that's not very unique to Alchemists. Now she has a synergy with conditions. I've Been Burnt Before says, at the start of this model's activation, choose a model that is suffering the burning condition or the poison condition that is within this model's melee zone. This model may immediately make a 2-inch dodge away from the chosen model. Now, there are two things to keep in mind. First, the 2-inch dodge has to be away from the chosen model. So it is kind of a movement speed buff, but situational. If the opponent stands right in your way to the goal, you can dodge to the side, which is away from the opponent model, but not really closer to the goal. You could make like a spiral-shaped circle around it, getting more distance with every step, but going around the side a little bit. But that, with 2-inch melee, it's not that much of a movement. It's then more about a 1-inch movement nearer to the goal. It's better to get away from opponents, so you don't suffer any parting blows later on. But the second thing to keep in mind, and that's the most interesting thing here, here's nothing about an enemy model. It's just choose a model that is suffering burning condition or the poison condition. So now she synergizes very well with those models inside her own guild who suffer conditions for benefits, like Catalyst, the older Catalyst, and Venom, for example, and even Crucible if she decides to suffer conditions to apply them to opponents. So you can set her up with a Venom or a Catalyst, for example, by just placing Catalyst or Venom right behind Vitriol. She then makes a 2-inch dodge away from that model and then continues with her own movement. In the early stage of the game, the first round, this is very, very interesting when you kick off with Vitriol, then move up Catalyst or Venom right behind her, and then you have again your huge threat range with Vitriol of 8-inch jog or 11-inch sprint accumulated with this dodge, and her 2-inch melee zone, so she has a 13-inch threat to the opponent, so he can't really keep the ball safe there, and she can score an early goal maybe. She has a tackle on the first result, which is very, very strong to get the ball, but it's not momentous. She has no momentous result at all on the first column, so she has to get to the second column to get some momentum, but then she has a push dodge, which is again a strong result. So overall, she's still a strong player. She has to be played differently now. She's not that independent from the other guild members. She has to have some kind of synergy to really extend her threat range, but overall 11-inch threat range without any I've Been Burnt Before synergy is still a huge distance in this game. So I still like Vitriol a lot. I like her even more because she's not overpowered anymore, and she feels more like an alchemist now. So that's a really, really good change in my opinion. The other guild member I see as a footballer is Crucible. She's not mainly the striker guy, but she can get the ball, bring the ball to the correct person, and enable the scoring game overall. She has a decent speed with 6'8", has a attack value of 5 again, has a kick value of 3/6 inches. So it's a more average, but higher average kick stat. It's a average kick stat for Alchemists at least. Other guilds have 2/6 for example, so Alchemist guild overall are a decent footballing guild. She has only a defense of 4 and no armor, so that's a small downside, for example. She has 14 health, so she is not that healthy overall, but she has a character play called Nimble, so she can push her defense up. She has Slip Past, which is really nice to reposition her, but it's only once per turn, not like Hearn, sorry, we call him Ernie here, Hearn has this, you can do it over and over and again. She just can do it once per turn, and she only has a melee zone of 1 inch. Vitriol had a melee zone of 2 inch, with what makes her even stronger. Crucible only 1 inch, which is surprising to me because she has this flailing bowl of poisonous gas, and it looked like a 2-inch model for me when I saw the first rendering, but it's just 1 inch, and that makes her a little bit difficult to play. But she's a good player in this guild overall. I haven't played her that much, but when I played her, I was really surprised about her potential. She has a momentous tackle on the second result and momentous slip past on the second result, with a momentous dodge on the first result. First column momentous results in the Alchemist Guild are rare, and so when we have them, it's really nice to have. With her 2 influence generation and 4 influence maximum, she can do a lot of stuff. She has incensed at the start of this model activation. This model may choose to suffer either burning or poison condition, thus synergizing with Vitriol, or synergizing with or not synergizing, but amplifying the condition gain. Chemical admixture. When damaged by this model, enemy models suffer all conditions this model is currently suffering. This is a second trait which combines with incensed, and this basically means you can sometimes leave Mercury or Calculus or Harry the Hat at home, play without AoEs, play with Crucible, play with Catalyst, and still spread out conditions very easily. Venom does poison himself, so she could burn herself up and apply this burning condition to enemies. She's then a nice counter to Meathook, to Graves, and other players who apply the bleeding condition when damaging. So she suffers a bleeding condition, and when she has her activation left in this turn, she can return the favor and apply bleeding and, for example, poison on the opponent, and then removing those conditions from herself with 1 momentum. The other 2 traits are really useful and strong again. Covalence 4-inch aura. An additional +1 momentum point must be spent when an enemy model within this aura that is suffering the burning condition or poison condition uses Take a Breather or is targeted by common mate. So again, she amplifies the condition gain while still being a strong football player. The opponent has to pay 1 momentum point more when the model who shall benefit from the removal of conditions is within 4-inch of Crucible. I tested this one with the guild identity card, which was spoiled as first. Watch the World Burn, I think it was, so where the conditions deal 1 additional damage, or if a model suffers condition damage, it suffers 1 additional damage. Has to be said like this because fire plus poison 3 with the Watch the World Burn, it's 4 damage, not 5. But with Crucible, the opponent struggles really to get rid of those conditions. So the cost of 2 momentum points to clear conditions is sometimes too much. And on the other side, if he pays it, benefits the Alchemist Guild for the momentum raise for the first activation in the next turn. The other and last trait is Reactive Solution. At the end of its activation, if this model is within 4-inch of an enemy model that is suffering the burning condition or poison condition, this model may make a 4-inch dodge. Again, huge synergies with conditions, which I like with the Alchemist Guild, why I play the Alchemist Guild. And this basically says you go in, you apply the condition everywhere, burning for example, then you clear yourself from conditions and dodge away 4-inch up, and in the best way, dodge so that every enemy model with conditions is still inside 4-inch of Crucible, has to engage her or get closer to attack her, or get away to clear conditions without the +1 momentum point to spend. So she can cause opponent some kind of trouble. In this nibble and her 14 life points, she has a defense of 5 then. 14 life points, which is enough to keep her alive over 1 or 2 opponent activations before she needs to disengage or get healed more and stuff. So I really like her. She has a momentous 3 damage result on the 5th column, which I see right now. And that's rare to achieve, but it's nice to have a momentous damage result. Overall, the Alchemist Guild lack of momentous damage results. They mostly have momentous dodges, pushes, or character plays, which is still representing their style of play. But here and there, a momentous damage result is nice to have because, yeah, sometimes you just can make the 3 goals. You have to make 2 goals or 1 goal and some takeouts. And you don't always have veteran catalysts to achieve that. So, nice to have some players able to do some damage themselves. That's about the Alchemist Guild footballers. It's just those 2, and of course Midas, and Smoke. I would add 2 because, but those are the captains. I already covered them, and the rest of the guild are more backbones. They can still play a decent amount of football with Mercury having a 4-6 kickstat, Crucible having Calculus having 3-6 herself. But they're not that good at ball getting with the Taco 4 and Tackle on the first and respective on the 3rd column. Mercury has it on the 1st, but Calculus on the 3rd column. That's not their main purpose. They are the backbones. They provide conditions and give your team a nice backline of safety where the opponent can't engage without having too much trouble between those guys. So the more oriented footballers are Crucible and Vitriol in my opinion. Now, coming to the union plays available to the Alchemist Guild. We have 3, like I said. We have Mist, of course, we have Snakeskin, and we have Decimate. I see Decimate as a footballer here more than a bruiser. Why? Later on when I get to Decimate. Let's start first with Mist. I made an alternate model for myself from the Dark Elf Assassin from Games Workshop, giving him a staff in the one hand, removing the dagger from the other hand, because I personally don't like the original model of Mist. The limited edition model is really nice, but I had not yet had a chance to get one myself. And when I wanted to play Mist, the limited edition Mist wasn't announced, so I had to use either the old Mist model, which is very 2-dimensional and small, or I make myself another model. So I went with this one. He has a 2-inch melee, just like Vitriol. He has a 6-8 movement, so 1-inch sprint less than Vitriol. Attack of 4, but the tackle on the first result. Momentous result is on the 2nd column with a dodge, so that's a bit harder to achieve. So you should plan ahead if you want to make a Mist activation with tackling the ball and scoring a goal. You should have some momentum in your pocket. A kick of 3 dice and 8 inches is nice, but my personal feeling is 3 dice is 1 die too low. There's 1 die lacking. Because, I played Mist just twice, I think, and he failed every pass and goal shot he should make. Every single one. And thus cost me one of the big league campaign games we had, which was a crucial game against the Brewers Guild, which is currently with my guild and the Butchers Guild on place 1. So, thank you, Mist, for being, in German, Mist. Defense of 5, armor of 0 is nice defense stats, of course. 12 hit points, so 2 hit points more than Vitriol, but not clone, so he's still some kind of squishy. Has a smoke bomb, of course, has acrobatics. He had Wet the Go in the first seasons. Now he has acrobatics, which is, I think, a nice change to reduce a little bit his threat amount. Cover of Darkness, he still got it, so he can advance further when starting in cover. Skilled within Shadow, like Vitriol, he has additional attack value when hitting opponents inside cover. So he has an effective attack value of 5 when hitting enemies in cover. With the smoke bomb available, he can place a smoke bomb for 1, engage the enemy, hit him with for 1 for a tackle. Third influence overall is momentous dodge, for example, and the fourth influence is shot on the goal. So he can make this get the ball, shoot the goal in one activation, just like Vitriol could or Midas could or something else. And he has another one, Motivated Solthakion, which is not really relevant for Alchemist players, but it's for Union players interesting. While within 6 inches of a friendly model of the named type, this model gains Shadow-like. At the start of this model's activation, it may make a 2-inch dodge. Solthakion is this church organization with Benediction, with Grace, of course with Mist, with Brisket 3, and maybe more models in the future. I really hope for a mascot and a fourth player, so you could play a 6-man Solthakion church team. That would be really nice. In the past, where there was no restriction to the amount of Union models available for a guild, you mostly saw, you have seen this really, really often. Midas, Vitriol, and Mist, all three together. Maybe Everest and Greedy for this back then 7th activation, or later on, with the change to Everest and Greedy to a striking duo, they reduced the amount of unit players to 1, so that wasn't an option back then. But in the first season, you saw this all the time. It was really nasty. It was a really football-oriented team, and it wasn't Alchemist at all. It was Midas, Vitriol, and Union. Now that you only have 1 Union player available for your roster, I don't see the Mist that much. I don't play that much of tournaments right now. I just played 1 Farmer release cup, so that's not very representative. But I try to follow the different Facebook groups and the forum, and I don't read Mist. I don't read Mist at all right now. It's more Harry, or it was Everest and Greed. Now I think it's always Harry, even with the small changes. Still, Mist is a good player, and if you want a high football-oriented, high-speed team with a potential to make 3 goals and 3 activations, then play Midas, Mist, and Vitriol, and Crucible, and maybe Catalyst. That lineup can really jump the opponent in the face and score. But our Mist has strong competition in the Union slot for the Alchemist Guild. Going to the next one is Snakeskin. I don't own the Snakeskin model myself because, I don't like her since season 1. It's not because she's bad or something, it's just like, I don't need her, I think. I wanted to play Alchemist from the beginning as a mostly pure Alchemist guild, maybe 1 Uni model, so this change to only 1 Uni model available now is really in my favor. And Snakeskin was never on the plan for me to getting because, she does nothing new I couldn't already achieve with other models. She has defense 4, armor 0 with nimble, so basically defense 5. She has a nice speed, she has a attack value of 5. She can tackle with momentum on the second result, which is good to have. Momentous dodge on the first result, but only 1-inch melee, 3-6 kickstart. She can clone, which her can clone too. She applies poison when damaging opponents, but when she damages opponents, she doesn't do anything else, not even momentum. She has Charmed Mail, so basically she gets to defense 5 or even 6 against male players. That's nice. Having only 12 hit points, it's good to have her safe like this. And she has Shadow-like. And that's it. She has no shenanigans whatsoever. She has Shadow-like at the beginning of her activation, but the engage, disengage has to be done by her playback alone, so she needs 2 influence to get the ball and disengage. She's not the fastest with 6-8. It's the same as Mist, but without the acrobatics movement. I don't see anything really new about her, so she's a nice player. I can see her in Union guilds, but as an Alchemist, guild with only one union slot available, I don't think Snakeskin can make this spot at all. The last one I said was a footballer more than a bruiser is Decimate. She is fast again, movement 6 and 9-inch sprint, tech of 6 with anatomical precision as her only trait, ignoring 1 point of armor of the opponent. Defense 4 armor 1, nice defense stat with 14 hit points. Kick value of 3-6 again, so this overall average kick stat. And the reason why I see her as a footballer is she has an easy access to momentous dodge results. First column, momentous 1 damage and dodge. Second column, momentous 2 damage and dodge or non-momentous double dodge. Third column, tackle. The tackle is a bit late with the third column, but with her ignoring 1 point of armor, means that against the most common defense stats of 3-1 or 4-1, she still achieves the tackle on an average score. So that tackle is perfectly fine. And on the fourth column, if you make a charge, for example, you have a tackle with a double dodge. So get the ball and disengage in the same attack is really nice to have. She has 2 character plays. She has second wind. When targeted friendly model next ends an activation, it makes a jog, which allows your footballing team to keep more out of trouble. You can get the ball, pass the ball to someone else, then dodge yourself, for example, give the other model a second wind or let them dodge, give yourself second wind to really disengage from the opponent, make it difficult for him to re-engage, get the ball back, and then shoot a goal in the later activation, for example. The second character play is 1000 Cuts. That's the one I don't achieve that much with an Alchemist guild. It costs 3 influence or 6 successes with an attack. It's in the 6th and last column of her playbook. 3 influence is a bit much. The target enemy model suffers -2 death and 1 damage. The -2 death is nice to really amplify other players to achieve wraparounds in their playbook, like Mercury or Calculus, who then really dish out a lot of damage. But spending 3 influence means you make, basically 3 attacks which can be, with Decimate, a total of 6 damage. So there you have to calculate carefully if that's beneficial to have 1000 cuts or this 6 damage with overall 3-inch dodges and 3 momentum points. Getting to the 6th column is difficult. It can be achieved in charge when the opponent is knocked down, for example, and stuff. In a Union guild, maybe. In an Alchemist guild, unlikely. So she is a nice addition to have momentous damage, which is, like I said earlier, a problem with the Alchemist guild. She has momentous dodges in addition to this damage. She's fast. She's quite tough. Has a nice kick stat, and with her speed, she's a nice addition. And I haven't played her since season 1, but I consider her as an alternative to Harry now. Harry, with a small change that he lost crazy, is nice with his head aura, is nice with his early pushes, but he doesn't achieve knockdown so much. He has a 2-inch melee, which is good, and Rising Anger, of course, is good, but he does not that much himself. He throws a Molotov, basically, and maybe a goad, and that's it. With Decimate, you have someone who can get 4 influence and deal a lot of damage, or run around the field, generating momentum, and maybe scoring a goal or getting the ball or something like that. So Decimate is a viable alternative to Harry right now, I think. And that's it. That's the 5 football players available to the Alchemist Guild right now. So Vitriol and Crucible on the side of the Alchemists Guild itself, and Mist, Snakeskin and Decimate for the Union Guild. So Average and Greedy have changed again, so they are not Strikers anymore, they are Bruisers now, so I will go talk about them in the next video when I talk about Bruisers, who like to beat up people and kill people and knock down people and beat some more people up. but this one was about footballers, and I really like those footballers. Yeah. Thinking about, have I anything else? I don't think so. So I hope you like this one. I hope you understand my English. There are still some issues, but I think I get better and better every day. And yeah, my apologies for those watching this. From an international region. And liking that it's English because they don't understand German. And my apologies, because we will continue in German after this Alchemist series. But I still hope you like this one. Give me your feedback in the comments below. You can join our Discord server even if you're international. The link is up in the banner of our channel or down in the description. We have a Guild Ball channel there. It's not that active right now because not so many players in Germany seem to play Guild Ball and communicate over our channel or over Discord. But yeah, our local group plays almost every week, at least one game. So we keep it active. I really like this game. I would play it a lot more if the community would be bigger in this area. But I'm trying to expand this area and make more tournaments myself, to increase the amount of games I can play myself here. So again, thank you. I hope you liked it. I appreciate your feedback down below if you send it to me. Only then I can improve if I know what's wrong and what's right and what I should do or shouldn't do. And yeah, then I hope I will get the next one, and thus the last one for the Alchemist Guild, the Bruisers, next week done. I think I will try to do this. Next week, Bruisers. If not next week, the week after, definitely. So, Bruisers will be finished, and the Alchemist Guild with us this month. And yeah, I think that's it for this video. Thank you a lot for listening, for watching. Hope you like it. Give us your feedback down in the comments. And yeah, see you next time. Bye bye.